Linda Sanchez of California is one of the Democrats who's been appointed to the House Select Committee on Benghazi. She's also the ranking member on the House Ethics Committee. So, Congresswoman Sanchez, I will just take that question directly to you. Have Democrats now legitimized what even fellow Democrats such as yourself have called a kangaroo court?
Well, there have been obviously a split of opinions within the Democratic caucus, but I think the overwhelming feeling is that with the Select Committee, you want to make sure that you have people in the room that are trying to make sure that the process is fair and as transparent as can be. And I think Mr. Cummings summarized that by saying somebody has to be there to be the defender of the truth. We have to be there in order to protect the process from becoming just a complete circus that has gone off the deep end and, you know, allowing unfettered power of Republicans to utilize this for political gain and fundraise off of it, quite frankly.
Well, the question I have for you, because your statement that you made on your participation in the Select Committee said something slightly different than that. And you mentioned actually the families who former Speaker Pelosi has said a couple of them at least have contacted members, Democratic members, so they don't want to go through this again. This was your statement. You said, although I am disheartened that we are putting affected by this tragedy through this partisan exercise, I'm committed to making decisions based on what the evidence shows. What evidence? I mean, there have been multiple reports. There have been 4 House reports on Benghazi. What evidence showing what new information?
Well, that's actually the question of the day, and I know that Mr. Cummings is meeting with Mr. Gowdy to specifically ask what is the mission of this Select Committee, because it's incumbent upon Mr. Gowdy to define what information is it that they're searching for that isn't already contained in the 8 reports that have been produced about Benghazi. What information is lacking? Because I think the material has been thoroughly gone over. So I think the question is the question for the chairman of this committee, Mr. Gowdy. What information is it that he's seeking that has not already been provided? What questions need to be answered that have not already been asked and answered not once but multiple times at great cost to American taxpayers?
But Congresswoman, then if that is your position, then why couldn't Democrats ask those very questions from the sidelines? Why sit on the panel and essentially allow Republicans to call it bipartisan? Haven't you essentially just emboldened Republicans, whatever fishing expedition they do? You guys are the ones giving it legitimacy.
No, I don't think that that's correct. I think that if you allow unfettered power, there is nobody to be the defender of the truth or to have the ability to question witnesses in a way that is fair and balanced. I think if you cut yourself completely out of the process, you have no say and no voice in where that process ultimately takes you. It's sort of like saying, I don't believe in any candidates, therefore I'm going to sit home and not vote. Well, then you're stuck with what the results are, and they may not be what you wanted. At least if you had a seat at the table, you have an opportunity to impact what the ultimate decisions will be by that committee.
But I'm wondering, Congresswoman, you have 5 members on a committee of 12 people. The Democrats will not be able to shape the final report. The report is going to be the report of the majority. Are you saying that Democrats couldn't walk out to a microphone anytime they wanted and say that this committee with only Republicans on it is illegitimate, and say that every single day, and have that not be more effective than sitting there on the dais participating? I don't understand how you're saying participating is more effective than walking out to a microphone every day and saying you're 7 Republicans in there doing a kangaroo court with not a single Democrat on it.
Well, Joy, that may be what your preference is, but I don't prefer to allow witnesses to, be harassed and intimidated during questioning while I'm standing at a microphone trying to say that the process is illegitimate. Somebody needs to be in that room trying to make that process as fair a process for the witnesses and for the people that will be participating as possible. I'm not about to allow witnesses to be bludgeoned and choose to walk the other way and say, well, it's out of my hands because this is not a fair process. It certainly puts us at a great disadvantage, but I think we owe it to the American people to be the seekers of truth in that committee and to be keeping Republicans in check at every step of the way in whatever way possible we can to try to make sure that they're not shoehorning facts and evidence to fit their predetermined outcome, and that we are there to question and to make them stop and reflect and justify why they continue to do what they do.
Okay, thanks for coming on and making your case, Congresswoman Linda Sanchez. Appreciate it.